Welcome again to another episode of Think on These Things as we're walking through the Bible this year. And let me encourage you, nothing in our lives should replace our Bible intake, our time in the Word where we're studying and spending time intently and intimately with the Lord our God. If you haven't been following along and maybe you're just hopping in for the first time, feel free to click the link below and you can catch up with us on our Bible reading plan here as we're diving in. Today, we're picking just one of the books that are being read this week, and we're just sharing some devotional thoughts that we have found as we have walked through these scriptures as well as you have. And in this week, we're looking at Psalm 71. As we look at Psalm 71, notice how it starts. It says, "In you, Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame." Now, I don't remember the exact circumstances of the conflict, but I certainly remember the conflict well. The year was 1985. If you're not familiar with 1985, maybe you were born after that, or maybe you're an old person like me, there were many things going on. The top movies at that time were Back to the Future, Rambo 2, that was some of the movies out, Rocky 4. The average cost of gas in 1985 was 75 cents a gallon. Now, what happened to me was I got into it with a couple of bullies in my neighborhood, and I came running in my yard, and I flung my backpack on, and I turned around to face these bullies, and here I was face to face with difficulty, and I was in trouble. I was about to take a beating from these two people. We all experience tragedy in our life. We all experience hard times where life seems to be crashing in and the bullies of life seem to gang up on us, and we need refuge and we need help. Here's something to remember. No one is exempt from the brokenness of this world. We all experience hardship and difficulties, and we all experience the enemies of the world, the flesh and the devil. And we live in these broken circumstances, and nobody survives the brokenness of this world without cuts and scrapes and bruises. But yet in our text today, what we find out is that God is a refuge. He secures honor. He is righteous. He's a rescuer. He's a deliverer. He's the only source of our true hope. He is sovereign. He is Lord. He's full of splendor. That's just in the first 8 verses. Well, on that day, I found myself confronted with these two bullies. I was ready to go. I thought I was going to take a beating, and all of a sudden the bullies' eyes got big and they took off running. And I thought, yeah, that's right. You don't want none of this? And as I turned around, there was my big sister standing behind me with her hands on her hips. My friend, it's not us that causes the enemy to flee. It's the one who has our backs. And what we find is that Jesus doesn't just have our backs, but he has us covered in his blood. He is our refuge. And though we experience the brokenness of this life, we can take hope in our passage today that while we will navigate difficulties, he is with us and he is our refuge in the midst of the storm. But there's coming a day where we will experience a kingdom where there are no storms, there are no shards of glass, there is no brokenness, there are no bruises, but there is only his eternal hope and eternal glory. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today. I hope you continue to follow along with us on Think on These Things. If you'd like to know more information about the John W. Rawlings School of Divinity, please check us out at www.liberty.edu/divinity.